What is up, guys? It's the Nightwing at Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video here today. This is Rift Insight Season 1, Episode 17. It's actually pretty crazy. We are at 17 of these, and I'm joined here by an array of guests. This week we have OPTSM fan, Shen Ryu, and JJ. Three Cloud9 fans, and one TSM fan. That's like my dream. That's my dream. So last week, I want to apologize to everybody because the audio messed up on Discord because I got a brand new microphone as courtesy of my donations on my main YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And you guys who came over there watching all the videos support that as well. Thank you so much to all the fans who came over from this channel to that one and vice versa. You guys are the best. And it just messed up. Things happened. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. TSM went 0-6. Why should I not have the biggest TSM fan I know talk about that? So I'm like, wait a minute. It would be a disservice not to have him on here to talk about TSM going 0-6. So we'll start with that. Then we'll go to the NA news. Then we'll talk about the quarterfinals and the semifinals preview. So I just want to ask you guys your first initial thoughts of what was going through your head when you saw TSM go 0-6. Like, were you like, man, is this... It can't get any worse. I mean, it really can't, but, you know...
Yeah. It was definitely tough. I didn't think, I had them admittedly coming second out of the group because I thought their form was going up. But, obviously hindsight is definitely 2020. Then you kind of see that the way that they were winning games was more so of the other teams in North America not being able to punish what they're able to get away with, and they just kind of got false results to where they could take that onto the world stage and try to replicate it, and that is not true. But there was just a lot of weird different stuff that was happening in terms of just like the way they were playing, their priorities in draft as well. Like the Fnatic game obviously comes to everyone's mind. The first one where they just let them have Lucian and Eve, and it's like, this is the first game for Worlds. How did you not prep for this and know that this are two of these champions that they play? Going 0-6, I think, especially as the first seed, is like horrific. It's not defensible, but I, as a longtime TSM fan, am so glad that they just got their butts kicked to where they may be looking for like real change as opposed to like small tweaks like they've always tried to do sometimes.
So for me, because there's a lot to digest, like, basically break down with that, I personally think that this time around, it's not going to be the usual break off all four players around Bjergsen and build a team around Bjergsen. I actually personally think that it's going to be a lot different this time around, just like with Cloud9, how they didn't make the World Championship for the first time since their inception. I actually personally think that we're in a lot of big changes coming, because I think that maybe this time around, after the World Championship for North America for 2020, I think a lot of teams in NA are maybe thinking about shaking things up. I'm not too sure about that. But looking at Spica, I think Spica played pretty well. I think Broken Blade played pretty well.
Y'all
I
found
don't
a
know.
jungler.
Like, it's rare. TSM finally get a jungler that's like, he's not going to choke internationally. And I think that was really promising. You have an NA talent going to his very first World Championship, and he did really well. He had games where he could have did more, but you really can't, because like jungling is not just a person thing. It's a whole team thing about how you want to play the game. And I thought that what Spica did in the games that they were kind of in the lead, he did okay. Like, he didn't choke. Like, usually when people say, like, when NA players go to Worlds, they're just completely falling on their face, choking, just don't know what to do, can't make any decisions. Broken Blade, I think for his first World Championship, played pretty fine. There were some games where he could have done more with what he had, but the same thing. Top lane and jungle are like, you need your team to help you accelerate the pace of the game. So what I would ask you, as a longtime TSM fan, is do you think it's time to replace Bjergsen or let him go into coaching?
I don't know. I think there are a lot of people who like think that like Bjergsen and the way that he like wants to run things, or the way he wants to play the game, or how he touts kind of the same line as what's been consistent there the whole time, he should go somewhere else and he would see success there. My only like reservation with that is that if he would see success elsewhere, why can't he see success here? Possibly, like does the environment need to change? I don't know if Bjergsen is necessarily the problem, but I do think that um, I was talking to someone the other day who knows a little bit more about the insides going in of
Hmm.
like the team, and he was saying that like usually when Reggie comes in or in the past, like they just get down to brass tacks, they just go down to the basics, and everyone's really focused. And then also like having like three veterans versus two rookies essentially going to the world stage to where they're like we just don't want to lose, and they're like we just want to win. It has like conflicting stuff. So I think that there obviously will be changes. I think there's probably going to be more changes than even
Hmm.
I think. But I would be surprised if Bjergsen is let go, especially after his signing last offseason when they were like, when he got the owner or part ownership and stuff like that. So if he does go into like a Parth type of role, that's fine. But I would just be really interested to see who they replace him with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, based off him being a part owner, I doubt that he goes to anywhere else. Realistically, like just realistically speaking, but also y'all were talking about like Spica. I think he did really well if you think about who was in that group as far as junglers go. Like that, realistically, as far as the jungle role goes, that was a pretty stacked ass group. Like self-made, I'd put him in top 20 list as far as just like individual skill goes. Clid,
Absolutely.
Clid, even based if you just based off of last year's performance, Clid last year was the best jungler in the world. Unfortunate they got fucking smacked in quarters, but I mean realistically he was. So Clid's still a great jungler, and then Peanut still a great jungler compared to like who he's got to play against in the LPL. So I think Spica did actually really well compared to who he was against.
So for me, I personally think that the only player I see realistically pretty much out the door instantly would be Biofrost. I think like people question Double Lift and Bjergsen. Biofrost was just non-existent and just literally running it down. I think he went on stage, everything loaded up, ran it down, lost 6 times in a row, and went backstage. I was like,
He freaking stole 800 gold from Bjergsen. Stole it.
Oh shit! He did. He was like, Bjergsen's actually having a pop-off game, and he's like, you know what?
Even Freak was like, "Wow, Biofrost finds another way to continue to troll TSM in the group stage."
Like that's the only player that I see personally that's literally out the door already. But like Double If you did just kind of extend his contract after that Golden Guardians loss they had in the LCS 2020 Summer Split playoffs. But people got to understand esport contracts are, you know, something that you can always sell. You players can have buyouts, but I just don't really think Double for Bjergsen are on their way out. I personally think that with Bjergsen having the stake in the company, that's gonna always be there, and he's pretty much like with Faker with T1. You're just with the team forever. It's just how I think that'll go. But Double If and Biofrost, I mean, I could see a world where, they replace the bot lane. I don't think you should replace Broken Blade or Spica based off their performance at Worlds. I don't think they even deserve to be replaced. If you replace them, I mean, I guess you're just going from the ground up. Most people said to start with the coaching staff. Now, the coaching staff was what? Lustboy, Parth. That's like the bigger names people know. So I totally forgot about this. Parth was the general manager and the head coach. That probably shouldn't be a thing. That's like,
Well, I can tell you as a Houston Texans fan, we just got done.
I was
with
just
having-
about to bring that up. So.
Yeah. I'm a Houston Texans fan. We just got done with having our head coach / general manager fired after a 4-0-4 start, and Bill O'Brien. And the only 3 contracts that are actually up for TSM this year are Lustboy, Treats, and Mabry, who is the academy coach as well. Peter Zhang is also there, but he's still contracted for another year. And then everyone else is signed until 21 or 22. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I think Biofrost is the outlying scapegoat for, I think, what was a lot of team problems altogether. Yes, he played really bad, but I also think that just the way that him and Double Lift were laning was not the best overall. I do think that Broken Blade and Speaka played well, but I think that's like it's not like wow they were great and they got held back by everybody else on the team, or like how eventually we just with Gen G game when they had nothing to play for, then Bjergsen pops off on Lucian, which was like the most contested pick band champion in the entire tournament, which was like, why now, huh? And he still lost, so that was like whatever. So there was just a lot more problems than just like Biofrost or Double Lift or whatever.
To touch base on the Biofrost thing too, I don't know if you guys actually get to Worlds without him subbing in and coming in for who you guys had before. His name is escaping me right now, but
Treats.
Thank you. Yes. I don't know. I thought when he came in the playoffs, I thought that really gave you guys the boost you needed to get over that last little hump, essentially.
I will say that is another part of the faux analysis that came from playing in North America. Like,
sure,
they also gave Bjergsen Zillion a couple times, but then we actually blind picked Zillion, or we picked Zillion at Worlds, and we got punished for it. So it's like, I think that TSM identified what they needed to do to just try to get to Worlds, but there wasn't this like next step of like, okay, instead of like looking what will make us better at Worlds, we took what worked in LCS and tried to replicate that, which is not a bad thing. We saw FlyQuest do that. We saw Team Liquid basically do the exact same thing that they did at Worlds that they did in North America. But I don't like, while without him we may have not made it, I personally would have rather seen us not make it instead of getting 0-6, which I think was like a topic one time. Someone said, would you rather not make Worlds or not win a game at Worlds?
Yeah.
So.
I think some of the issue too kind of stems from just like the North American scene, like you're saying altogether. Like a lot of the pros in NA right now are all jumped on the scene, like season 4, season 5, like all these guys have been around for so long. And I think one of NA's biggest problems is that the talent pool just in NA, obviously we know just isn't as good as maybe, Korea or China or anything like that, but they're also not getting a chance to like show how good they could actually maybe be in a sense. Like if you think about it, here's an example, I guess, is like Immortals, right? So they had like Soaz, who's been a pro since season 1, season 2, Smithy since season 1, Poe Belter since season 1. Like it's just these same players that have been here for forever, whereas, you get a team like Damwon who comes in and it's all these new up and coming young players that, and obviously I know it's Korea, but you got all these new players that get some fresh blood into the scene and can maybe show something. So I think it comes down to a lot of maybe LCS and North America looking at maybe the talent pool where we've got some of maybe these younger players that need just an opportunity to shine, and stop signing all these, well-known veterans that maybe have a name but can't maybe really produce the same way that they used to.
I do think that's a problem. The only thing I will say, just to clarify, is
sure,
I don't blame TSL's lack of success on North America allowing them to win.
I don't either.
I do think, because we saw that Team Liquid and FlyQuest were able to take games off of other people in at least presumably harder groups in the case of FlyQuest, and so I think TSM's problems still are TSM's own problems that were exacerbated by LCS, and I think that you've seen a lot of conversation on that, obviously.
So for me, what else would you start to do with TSM? Because like, I don't think going into next year they want to try the same thing. I think that going into next year you want to have something that will, I don't know. It's like, it's so much to really break down in terms of, was it a coaching problem? Was it the players just mental booming because of scrims? We know that, like, there's been a lot of teams that have gone from NA internationally that have said when they face the other teams in scrims, it's like, whoa, we're getting blown out. We don't know what the hell to do. So I personally think it was a mixture of scrims and them playing up against, because you practice against like what, every single team essentially anyway that you're going to be scrimming against in the group stage or the other teams from other groups. Who knows? Maybe TSM faced up against Top Esports, faced up against Damwon, and we're like, all right, we're dog shit. We can't do anything. We don't have like our confidence probably dipped. I'd have to imagine that because they actually you could tell that they got their confidence back after winning the LCS, and it was just gone after a month. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They've had to have had scrims that pretty much demoralized them to the point where they're like, we just gotta try anything. Like picking Zillion into BDD, who's the Zillion player in Korea, like that's not gonna work against him, you know? And the thing with LCS is you have the laners who are decently bad to the point where it's gonna show the Zillion pick being really, really strong when it's strong when it gets the chance to scale in it once it gets to a certain point in the game. But the way Bjergsen was playing it was like it was winning lane, it was dominating, it was a must ban on TSM side if you were playing against TSM. But at Worlds, teams were just like, nope, just have it. There you go. You can pick it, and they did. And like in the very last game against LGD, he was getting solo killed on it. He didn't have any pressure in lane. It was just at a certain point, I think that people keep saying TSM needs a restructure. I mean, that could mean anything. Do you mean coaching? Do you mean the players need a mental coach with them? Does that mean you need players who can mentally hang in there even when they know things are wrong? Like it's a lot of things. I think people boil down all of TSM's problems to just like one thing, and then as you guys know from being traditional sports fans and us playing sports growing up, it's not how that works. That's literally not how that works whatsoever. You can't pinpoint one problem on one person. It's just not how that works, you know? And I don't like how TSM going 0-6 is reflective of Team Liquid and FlyQuest, who almost got out of the group stage. Now I know it's not a good thing to not make it out of the group stage. But people gotta realize this. They were very close and they showed much more potential than what people gave them credit for. Starting off on a tangent, because most people said NA's trash, NA's dog shit. They'll go like, they even said Team Liquid or FlyQuest will go 0-6 in their groups as well, right? But I think that it's good that people got proven wrong. I think it's good FlyQuest showed us that they can stand with the best. I think it's good that Team Liquid showed they can change their playstyle. Like all the things that people said about North America, I mean, the things that got changed were things that we couldn't really control. You know, getting out of the group stage because, like, let's be honest here. If FlyQuest, you have to bank on Unicorns of Love beating Top Esports for them to stay inside the group's contention. That's not going to happen. That's out of your control, essentially. But I think the problems with North America that people had initially were kind of mitigated and subsidized. They're like, oh yeah, NA just can't handle these world-class teams. It's not actually true. It's not true. Because if that were true, then Top Esports would have actually destroyed FlyQuest like it did in their first game. But in their second game, it looked a lot more competitive, and FlyQuest even actually won. Same thing with Team Liquid. They took out G2, and they even took out Suning. When do you know Team Liquid to do level 1 invades? I was like, where's this Team Liquid been? Where's this Team Liquid I've been wanting to see all year with Broxos, continuously known as the invading jungler with great pathing? So that's just what I wanted to say. Sorry for the long tangent, obviously, guys, but...
Well, yeah, no, so I was going to say, I mean, realistically, NA didn't do that bad. I mean, okay, barring the 06 TSM. Like, I think they had 3 wins less than EU total because Rogue had 1 more win than TSM, and G2 and Fnatic both had 1 more win than TL and Fly. So the whole, like, NA's a wildcard region. I mean, like, I know it's a meme, and it's fucking hilarious. But also, like, there's some people that are genuinely like, no, they should be demoted. When realistically, I mean, they weren't that much worse than EU. And I feel like, you know, unlucky as it is, like, TL had their chance, and then they dropped a fucking game to Machi.
That was, dude.
It's like, that could have been their 3-way tiebreaker right there.
Like,
and
they
lost
crazy? You know what's really crazy is that FlyQuest had to bank on Unicorns of Love beating Top East for them to stay inside the group's contention. TL had to bank on G2 beating Suning. Like, that's just...
and so, like, it's funny, though, because if you think about it, like, if that's a 3-way tie, like, G2 could not even be where they're at right now, or Suning could not even be where they're at right now. Like, who's to say that TL doesn't fucking knock one of them out? I mean, do I think that would have happened? You know, who knows? But I think, but as we were talking about as far as, like, TSM problems go, I think it depends on what you want to do. So Osh just got declared as not taking up import spots. So who's TSM's import spots right now?
TSM's import spots are Broken Blade. That's it.
And
that's
well,
it.
where's I thought Broken Blade was from Osh.
No, he's from Turkey, right?
Turkey, that's right. Never mind.
Okay.
I was gonna say it depends on what you want to do with your import slots and who you think you want to get rid of. Because, I mean, Bangs and ADC, that's actually played really well. If you think that Doublelift is a problem, I don't think he was. I don't think you can individually blame a single person. I think Biofrost had his games, like he did really good in playoffs. Like Biofrost played amazing on his like Bard and stuff, and then in Worlds he kind of just disappeared along with the majority of the team, anyways. So I don't think you can kind of pinpoint it on any one person, but I think they should maybe change something. I don't know. I mean, they just won LCS, so it depends on what you want to do. If you want to win LCS, I don't think you need to change anything. If you want to actually get...
Someone said you could look at it this way. You could look at it like they did in 2017, where they wanted to do so well internationally, they broke down the roster in North America and started losing North America. It could be the same thing, but people have to understand this. It's like it was different in the context of what actually happened, because they were actually so close to getting out, though. And the issue here is they made the right decisions based off what happened at Worlds. It was the right decision to kick Doublelift and Biofrost at that point in time. It was the right decision. I don't really care what most people say about it. That was the right decision, though. You literally just saw them fail at Worlds for running it back for 2 years in a row. I mean, what else would you do? I think that potentially you might see it this time around if they want to switch up the bot lane, but it's not something where it's like TSM don't want to win North America. They want to do well internationally. I mean, it's very proven that winning a title that doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of like, what do they call those things? Brownie points? Yeah, they call them brownie points or whatever. It's literally just brownie points at the end of the day, you know? Because I'm pretty sure C9 would love to have been at Worlds. I'm pretty sure C9 would have loved to have been at Worlds over winning that spring split. I'm just saying, you know?
Yeah, so you know what's interesting, though, is speaking of C9, I know we'll get to it later, but Licorice, no longer on C9.
Ooh, Team Lick.
Who is your worst player on FlyQuest?
I was going to say TL Licorice. If TL had Jensen, Licorice, Core JJ, and Tactical, is that not one of the best teams in North America? Is that not at least top 3?
Well, I mean, like, they're still technically one of the best teams in North America with this current lineup that they have. I don't know if Impact is so much more of a better player currently than Licorice is, in terms of like maybe you can flip styles more, since they were reluctant to do that at Worlds with Impact playing carries when it was a carry topside meta. But I personally think that, yeah, like the FlyQuest thing makes sense if you want to do that, and you can have a stronger laner, whether he's playing strong side or weak side. And then, you know, that could be used with Santorin and Ignar if they kept the same entire roster, obviously. I personally think that, you know, regardless of how it ended, there is a chance that EG would be a good one, because then, you know, whether or not it's Kumo or Huni, who is now a resident as well. Huni is now a resident in the upcoming year. That while him and Zazel may have had their problems, maybe they've worked it out. Who knows? Maybe you don't. Maybe you want Licorice more, and then you're like, well, let's get someone else besides Zazel. Or my personal favorite would be Golden Guardians, because I think that him with Closer would be absolutely fantastic. But that's just like that's kind of what other people said sometime when like the 2017 TSM thing happens. Like, oh, we have a good thing going. Why change it for a slight upgrade, or like some people might call it a side grade from the way that Licorice played last year between him and Hanser. But overall, like, I think the Licorice thing is fine. Also, I just what we were talking about right before the Licorice thing about just how in North America, I don't think North America is like a wild card region, but like in terms of like our player base, we have around the exact same number of people who play as Brazil or EU Northeast, like the Nordic ones, which are not the main ones that we talk about in terms of player base.
It's garbage over here.
You know,
I'm letting you know now. It's garbage over here because that's where I'm at right now.
You're in the EU West?
In Romania.
Really?
No, I'm in EUE right now. I'm playing on EUE and League.
How's that solo queue?
I want to fucking die.
So I mean, like we're about 1 million away, almost, I believe, if I remember correctly, from like EU West, which is, you know, the server that all of LEC plays on. And then also, like, I'm not for like, oh, we need to have only 2 spots. It's like, no, our third seed showed that play-ins are needed, or like maybe if you want to make us both pull 2 seeds or like a pull 2, pull 3 in play-ins. But like there is nothing outside of MSI and Cloud9's run to semifinals that would suggest that NA is like that. Those aren't the exceptions to the rule of NA not being able to perform at the level of Europe, Korea, and China. And I think there is ways to improve that. I'm not saying that our players are just absolutely worse, but we are within our own little bubble over here in LCS. And to answer the question about what should TSM do, I mean, if Riot doesn't change anything about Spring Split, legit just throw people in there. This is the whole reason why franchising was supposed to be a thing. Find out what players work and don't worry about win-loss, because it doesn't matter. Thank you, Double Lift. A Spring Split. Go ask Cloud9. It doesn't matter, right? You can go win, and like if they would have gone to MSI, maybe things are different because they get punished or they play against other competition that helps them realize things that nobody else could have realized because they didn't have that exposure. But that didn't happen. So at the end of the day, if nothing happens on Riot's end about, making Spring Split matter again towards Worlds qualifications or anything like that, put in new people. Like I personally think Treats is the better player, even though TSM decided he wasn't with their.
I thought he played fine for what he showed. He played fine.
Yeah, and it's it's a hard thing. There's no like one like. I don't have like just something I can pour on and then it's like that's the solution right there. But that those are the things that we had talked about during your rant. So
yeah. The last thing on TSM. Do you guys want to cover anything more about TSM? I think that Reginald. I don't know what he could do because the classic Reginald comes in, fixes everything. That didn't even work. That didn't work. I imagine he said something when they were like 0-3. I'd imagine he's like fuming, but it's just nothing you can do when you're already mentally boomed like that. There's not much you can really do. I would say just get a person that specifically deals with that. But looking at that now, you want to make sure it's meant for the next season because their season's already over.
Look, all I'm saying is, arguably the best top laner in the world right now gets a massage before every game. I'm not saying anything about it, but I'm not saying that Broken Blade is an agree either. But
hey, you never know. Oh my god. My last thing for TSM and the other orgs that went to the 2020 World Championship, I am pleasantly surprised that people got shut up about how bad North America could be. Like, don't get me wrong, they did play bad at various points, but so did Europe. I mean, Rogue underperformed to the minuscule expectations set for them. The minuscule that Rogue, my God, they were supposed to play spoiler and at least get third. They went 1-5. Their only other win was against fucking PSG Talent, who were like complete trash.
Hey, PSG's my boys. Put some respect on that name.
I think they could have actually done so much better too. I don't think Rogue would have got a single game if they would have never had to swap back.
Dude, if they
from
never
Kanye and
right?
Uniboy. I think they beat
100%.
Rogue both times because that duo was actually disgusting.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, they were pretty disgusting. I think Rogue was like EU Team Liquid. They have a set way that they want to approach the game, and they're going to do it, and they're going to play through their bot side with their jungler and a mid laner who's really, really consistent and good in team fights in a weak side top lane. They approach the same way, but you could, as Frost says, download what they wanted to do all the time because it was either really apparent in what they drafted or just really apparent in the way that they played. They always take these 70-30 plays. They don't really go for the 50-50s so that you could know exactly what you were expecting. I will kind of contest the point about the Uniboy and I forget just because while I do think that they were good, I think that that may have just secured just one win as well because they had to play towards the two sub strengths as opposed to the entire team strengths. And I think that it would have probably put Rogue still at 1-5. I don't think that they're 0-6 either way. But I don't think many people had much expectations for Rogue
Yeah,
once
they
they
had him
were
at
put
third
in.
place. Yeah.
Once they saw them in the JDG versus Damwon group, I mean, it was like, well, it's tough sledding. If they were in maybe like TSM spot, or like if they were in Fnatic spot, I guess you would say, or in the G2 group, maybe there was chances that they could have more than one win. But I think they were just kind of dealt a tough hand. And Mad Lions obviously has already, both of these teams are already making moves allegedly in the off season, where Mad Lions is taking Armut from Supermassive,
Yeah,
and
and
then
Aloye, right?
yeah, some
Imagine losing to him and then him taking your job the next time.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I love League.
Armut, and then Aloye is replacing Shadow, which I found kind of weird because while
Yeah, I agree.
Shadow's champion pool may have come into question at Worlds previously, before spring, he was receiving LPL offers. So that, like, they obviously see some talent in him, and then now it looks like Rogue is going to be signing Alfari possibly in replacing Finn. So
Thank you,
a lot
thank
of
you,
top
God.
laners on the move right now.
There is a God. There is someone who is listening and preying on these League of Legends players and wanting to spread them out evenly. Oh my God! Like, no, it's no disrespect to Finn. I know he's young, but let's be honest here. In the double standard world that exists in League of Legends, if that was a North American top laner playing as badly as he did, he would get scrutinized. And I think that
You mean
Finn,
solo?
even solo, yeah, like that's how I would personally compare them. Because Finn played bad. He was only good on Malphite. That's what Dyrus did back in like season 5 at the 2015 World Championship, when he was like, all right, I can only play Malphite then, guys. That's what they gave Finn. He was only good on Malphite. I was like, man, like, if Rogue want to be a contender in the LEC coming up for the 2021 season heading after the holiday season, he's the guy you got to replace. And I'm sorry, guys, it's sports. You get replaced. Like, people are like, well, I like this guy. I'm sorry, but this is how sports work. You get replaced, and the org moves on. It all depends on, do you want to move on? Because that's the next point, because that goes into the off-season. Thank you, OPTSF fan. C9 replaces Licorice. They replace the best top laner in North America with the Academy top laner, who is now not considered an import because he's an Oceanic top laner. So there's a bit of discussion in the C9 fan group. Holy crap, I cannot take people's opinions because most of it, no offense if you're watching this, your opinions are so bad. You have terrible analysis on League. There's a reason why you're bronze. Just want to put that out there. But, and this will go into come play later when we'll talk about Nemesis, because this is something I want to tackle that I felt strongly about for a little bit. This is for anyone who's out there who's going to watch this later on as a thought. You got to stop getting attached to the players. Like, you just have to, because I feel like so many people get so, like, hurt when a player gets removed. It's like, eventually they're going to get removed anyway, or they're going to retire, or they're going to go to another org. That's how sports work. And there's a bunch of apologies usually when they come out, or like, even with Sneaky. Let's take Sneaky. When Sneaky was replaced on Cloud9, oh my God, how could they treat Sneaky like this? Because he's been a long time. At a certain point, he was going to leave. He's going to go to another org. He's going to retire. At some point, he is going to leave. I think people just get genuinely too attached to the players, and I don't think that's a healthy thing. You know, I think that you have to understand this. They play for your org for a certain amount of time, and then they eventually retire, or they go to another org. Like how all sports work. I don't know why this is such a foreign concept to certain individuals, but that's just me. If you guys want to go ahead for that,
I completely agree with you. To jump in here real quick, because if you think about it, it's like think about a pro in like the NFL, right? So like take like Von Miller, for example, for the Broncos, Denver boy here. If Von isn't producing the way that is going to cause the Broncos to win, and then there's a younger guy that they think they can draft or they can sign, or somebody else they can sign that's going to produce more, you're going to have the loyal fan base that obviously loves Von, but there comes a point where you need to just replace even though they're a veteran and they've been with your team forever, you need to replace that talent with some fresh blood sometimes to be able to compete with where you're at. And it's the same thing with like League. Like that kind of goes back to my point a little bit with like the whole, how many of these players that play in the LCS right now are like season 3 veterans, season 4 veterans that have just been here forever, and they just signed the big name to try to, I don't know if it's to get, increased, shirt sales or jersey sales or whatever they do, but there becomes a point where you got to think like, yeah, that player's been on our team for X amount of time, but in reality, this younger player or this new player could come in and really produce for us and cause us to become like a winning organization again. And that's just a hard thing for a lot of people to accept that have, been only seen one person on the team, like with Sneaky. Like you've only seen Sneaky play AD carry for the most part. And then, you bring in Sven and then they win the title. But that's kind of what I guess I'm trying to get at a little bit, is that sometimes change isn't the worst thing, even though it might not be what you want at the current time.
And this is my thing, is that Jack's the one paying these players. We are not paying them a dime to play on the team, right? So it's like, why are you so mad he's getting replaced when you're not even paying him? Imagine, like, you're the boss, you're paying these people, you want them to perform, and you want them to produce your best results. That's what any boss wants in any job, no matter what, And at a certain point, Jack sees everything going on. It doesn't matter if he's good at League, doesn't matter about any of that. All Jack sees, my own personal opinion, I have an org, I want it to perform, I have a League of Legends team and whatever sport they compete in, I want them all to perform, I want to win titles, I need sponsors, we want to produce a great org that'll be long-lasting, grab fans, the whole 9 yards with any competitive sports team, right? If there's a point where it's not being produced correctly in his eyes, I think he's correct and it changes. Also, let me share his screen for a second. Woo! See right here?
So this is made by Chrono. This is not my own graph. I take no, this is not mine. But so this is to JJ's point about average player tenure distributed through the league. The tenure time is on the side on the left, and on your x-axis it's the year. So as you can see, we continue to get more people who have been in the league for 2 or more years, while the likes of the LCK you can see are anywhere between 1 to 3.
I love this graphic.
So it's a great graphic in terms of like showcasing that point. The only couple things I will contest you on are, one, asking fans to ask rational is not logical just by the definition of what a fan is. They're a fanatic. 2, I think it's easier to compare it more to basketball, since the faces and the individuals are more individualized in basketball than football, because you are attached to a player. I would still root for Tracy McGrady if he was playing today, regardless of what team he went to, because I have he played here and I liked him. Or like when Hakeem Olajuwon went to go play for the Raptors for those couple of years, I still cheered for him. Or there are players, like individual players who've never played for my team that I really, really like Vince Carter, or some of these players that are just, you like the individual because that's the way it's marketed in the NBA, and it's similar to the way that we've marketed in the LCS, as well as just with all the NBA money that has come in through Clutch when they did come in last year. The Dignitas is part of the 76ers. FlyQuest was the Milwaukee Bucks at one point, I believe. And then the Golden Guardians obviously being Golden State Warriors. So there's similarities in that. But also that to say that we just need new, fresh blood, we don't have the exact same type of infrastructure to just have someone come out there. Like if we just threw some of these people that are on academy, some of the academy teams, they wouldn't have the exact same type of infrastructure from like how in football there's collegiate football, and then they've been doing it since Pee-wee all the way down since they were 9. So it's not like there's just like a mega pool. I'm not saying that there's not talent out there, but I'm just saying like there's not this mega pool of talent that we have. Now, I'm not for nepotism and just allowing people to stay on forever and having, Dignitas have 10 people on their entire roster have all 2+ to 3 years between academy and LCS. Mine, it's like Johnson and Asta. Like it's insane that your academy team is like primarily LCS pros, former LCS pros. But those are the only things I would contest you on. But there is a definite problem that some of these people are addressing. But the fans, to ask them to, like, oh, well, you don't pay them, you shouldn't make the things. Like, well, I mean, I don't pay like, the people, or like, I can still commentate on like bad plays or like things I see in football or in League of Legends, and being able to see it objectively, even without being the one who carries like the paycheck or the one who's making the decisions.
Well, and I think too that
I still love Jensen, even though I have to love C9, man. Jensen, definitely gonna be the hottest free agent on the market. Him and Licorice, probably the hottest free agents going in, because his contract's up at Team Liquid, right? At this year with Impacts.
I believe it's Impact, Licorice, Jensen, and Santorin are the
Ooh.
big ones on the market right now.
Jack, please go get Jensen. Jack, please go get Jensen.
Again.
Admit your mistake. Admit your mistake.
No, just upgrade. Just upgrade Palafox. Honestly, I would love to see Palafox.
Yeah.
His champion pool is insanely better than Niski's, and I mean, yeah, you could argue, oh, well, he's doing it against Academy, yeah, but he was fucking hard smurfing on everybody. But also, I think another issue with like NA player base is also the fact that like most like high elo players, why would they want to play pro when they can just stream and make like double?
Oh my God.
Exactly like what they're making. Like most of NA is just content creators.
Yes.
Like, realistically speaking.
I would love to bring up a point real quick. So I have a buddy of mine who I started playing League with when he was a Gold 3 Lee Sin main. All right. He's now Grandmaster support main. He and I actually asked him like what he thought the problem was with some of like NA problems at Worlds and everything like that. And he brought up a couple of good points. For example, I don't know, he said something along the lines of like NA needs leagues below Academy for players to develop in. You don't have to be a 1K LP superstar by 16, 17 to make it into the Academy team. It's just unrealistic. High schoolers, especially in America, cannot be expected to be in a grind like that just to be noticed. It's impossible. And then he brought up the fact too that with the streaming aspect of how like most people like they could just go make more money streaming the game, to be honest with you, like if they're good enough. So I think it's just I don't know. My thoughts with just the talent not being maybe produced kind of falls on a little bit of like Riot in North America too, just because like if you think about it, like the average ping, most people, I think, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but I usually average between like 40 and 50 ping in Colorado.
Oh, you're so lucky. Last night I was going crazy for me. Jeez.
Yeah. So, but like you get these people that are playing in China and Korea, they're averaging like 16 ping, 10 ping, shit like that. Like, dude, it's just like you can't. How do you compete with something like that? Like the game is just so different when you're playing at playing a game at like 5 to 10, 12 ping versus when you're playing at 40 ping.
The number one player in China, the like 2K LP, the one that's got like 300, 400 LP on second place. He's literally just a Cass one trick Cassiopeia. So imagine playing Cass on 10 ping.
Yeah, no.
Oh shit.
Exactly. So that's a great point that you bring up. So this is the next point. This is one of the other points you brought up. He says the other problem with NA is that they don't want to pick up one tricks, and it blows my mind. So many top Korean pros came up as one tricks. Showmaker was a Katarina one trick. If he was in NA, he wouldn't even get picked up because the talent scouts say, "Oh, he only plays Cat, so he sucks." Like, are you kidding me? Like, just because he plays one champ doesn't mean he can't play anything else. So
that is the problem, is that people in North America are looking for finished projects or things that they can polish off as opposed to things that they can develop. And I think, I'll tell you this, if North America picks up Peter Dunn, the former GM/coach of Mad Lion/Splice, I think he could immensely help the scene out. Mm-hmm. I think you see what he did with a Mad Lions team like everyone was like, oh my God, bringing all these rookies, only keeping humanoid. What are you doing? And it's like, he has an eye for talent. Yep. He lives and breathes League of Legends all the time. You need more people like that in the scene because, I think we had talked about it 2 weeks ago with Khan that this is the first time that LCS has like seen a net profit. So like in terms of profit for teams, they want things that can reliably get them wins as opposed to improving the whole scene overall, which is why you see a lot of these 2, 3, 4, 5-year veterans still getting offers on teams or filling spots in academy that could be open other places, because it's not more so about looking to develop talent as it is of just finding it and picking it and placing it in and just leaving it be. So
yeah. So on that point real quick, I really like that because that's another point that Light Pulse and I talked about in he brought up the fact that like these high level challenger players would rather play on their Smurf account and just smash some D4 D3 player instead of improving in the challenger seed and just like basically like, oh, I've got a 70% win rate Masters account, so like why do I need to get any better or anything like that? So.
To piggyback off your point, if nobody knows this because it came out recently, CV Max, the guy that was alleged with all that abuse and shit, I don't know if that's true, but the thing with Chovy, he polished Chovy to be the player that he knew he could be. Chovy, remember, he was like a 2-trick, I'm pretty sure 2-trick on his accounts that he had. He's a 2-trick. Dude is like known as like the best player in the world right now. One of the best players, obviously. But like if he was never given the chance to prove that he could be good at other things, or like just given the chance to prove himself, you would never see a Chovy. And I think the issue with North America is people are looking at the one tricks and going, you can never be good. Who are you to judge that? Like that is just so unfair. Like, who are you to judge that? And you don't even play League. Like, that doesn't make any sense, though. Like, the thing that people brought up in the scenes that, like, the bigger color casters and the bigger content creators keep saying that North America has people put in positions that are not really good at League, nor do they have the capabilities to make the right decisions, right? So, who are you to decide I can't be a pro because you see I only play one champion and you do not play League? Where does, like, that's a big lopsided thing. It's like me going, like, it's like me being married and OPTSM, I don't know if he's single or not. It's like me going up to him and going, you know what? How do I deal with my wife? How would he know? Like, it makes no sense. It's like me going up to Shannon and going, you know what?
Because I give great advice.
It's like being like, it's like going up to your friend who's never got a girlfriend and asking him for girl advice. That'd be terrible. No one would do that. It's like go ask a bum for money advice. Probably not gonna be the good idea. And I think that if you want to change the scene, it has to be from the top. Like, these people who clearly don't play League, clearly don't know what they're doing, should not be deciding who gets to play on competitive rosters. That's just me. I think that's just highly going to make the scene a lot worse if that continues to happen. If any of you guys want to, chime in, we can go on to the next thing.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I think that's an issue. It's like, if you think about it, like, why wouldn't you want these people that are 2-tricks or 1-tricks? Because most of the time, the people that are 1-tricks are 1-tricking, like, stupid high mechanical champs.
Mm-hmm.
You know how easy it is to transition that into something else, like these people that are
Showmaker,
Aurelia 1-tricks, fucking
Nidalee,
Riven 1-tricks, all
Riven.
these other things.
Those are high,
like, you can,
those are high skill kept champions.
Exactly. So I feel like it's so much easier to just say, hey, let's try to teach them, say, fucking how to play a tank. Like, they already have extremely good mechanical skills. Now you just have to get their macro skills for other champs on par. Just feel like it's much easier to do that than to say, like, all right, well, let's just fucking grab this person whose champ pool is like fucking 8 champions. Like, he plays 8 champions, but he's, pretty good on all of them. Whereas you could get someone that's amazing on like 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 and then just teach them.
All right, let's go on to the Worlds 2020 quarterfinals that just took place this past weekend, and it was, I don't know. Did you guys like the quarterfinals? I thought it was okay. I thought it was, I thought it was pretty good.
It was lit. Minus 1 series, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love seeing quality League no matter where you get it. I got League on Thursday. Sign me up. Man, take me out of it. Put me in there. So, the easiest series to go through would be Dragon X versus Damwon. In your guys' pick'ems, do any of you have Dragon X in your pick'ems at all?
No way.
All right. So, like, that series was basically like, it's literally Damwon just running over them with a truck, backing up into them repeatedly. That's it.
Like, we already saw that exact same series literally like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And what happened? They got 3-0'd.
Yeah, between the 6 games that Damwon and DRX played, it was just as exciting, maybe almost as exciting as Game 2 from Suning and G2. Like the singular game of Suning and G2 was so much more hype than 6 games from Damwon DRX. Like, that is just really, really sad.
So, as you guys will see in my future video coming up with me and my friend, I think that Dragon X were not as bad as they played. I think they actually made a lot of improvements coming over to the World Championship, but I think that their group didn't really challenge them to change anything. So they were just like, okay, we'll just like play fast, but then since we know we're playing up against Unicorns of Love who are complete dog shit, we'll just like not play fast anymore. We'll just like start your car. It's like starting a car up, going really fast to know where you're gonna go, and then you stop because you know you're gonna get there in time. That's what Dragon X were to me. They were a car that started pretty fast, but then they kind of just like slowed down a little bit when they knew they had to play down to their competition. That's what it was for me in their group, and I think that hindered them from wanting to change because you saw that in the other groups, teams were willing to change based off what other teams beat them with. You never really got that with Dragon X. They kind of just played the same, except they just played a little bit more faster, you know. But that's just me. Anything you guys want to say more about this series, or just move on to the next one?
So let's see, who was DRX's jungler again? I'm forgetting.
Teosik?
It was Teosik. Yeah. I mean, I think they did all right in groups.
Yeah.
I think Teosik had that like complete Smurf game against UOL where I felt kind of bad for them because he absolutely shit on them. But overall, I mean, like my expectations for them against Damwon were high to begin with because personally, I have Damwon as the best team in the world.
I still have them winning it. I still have them winning it in my pick'ems. Still have it. Woo.
I mean, I'm not gonna just knowing. Like, I will give G2 credit. Knowing like what's happened before, I wouldn't put G2 out of it. However, I think this Damwon is completely different than last year's Damwon, and they also have a significant upgrade in the bot lane in Ghost. So I don't think Perks can just hard stomp bot lane again. And Barrel's improved a lot from being like his Alistar is great and the rest of his champs are okay.
He was a one-trick Alistar. Oh no, a one-trick Alistar, and now he's almost about to be a world champion, or at least top 4.
Yeah, and then mid and top were already evenly matched last year. Like, actually, Showmaker played better individually than Caps did last year, but G2 as a team were just miles ahead.
I think we talked about this when we saw the quarterfinals matchups and what they were going to be in the last episode on this, is that I think luck of the draw came into effect for DRX. I think if DRX would have been able to play against a different 1 seed, like maybe I'm not saying that they would have won pretty much against anybody else, but I think they probably could have had better showings versus other teams. Let's run it back with DRX versus Gen G without the 3-hour pause and have Gen G get the revenge. I think Suning would still beat DRX overall, and obviously they couldn't play top. So those are. I think they got someone who already had them downloaded in Damwon, and that's just unfortunate for DRX. But top 8 is. I had them as I think maybe like a top 5, top 16 coming in.
Yeah, like so they were pretty much top 10 going in. I mean,
yeah. Oh well, they're definitely top 10 for sure.
What's up, Abigail? Hey, everyone who's been in the chat. Thank you, Abigail, for always being here. I'm sorry KT Roaster aren't the World Championship anymore, because I definitely don't want to see them anymore here. Because I'm just kidding, Abigail. All right, so the next series was Suning versus JDG. I think JDG massively underperformed to expectations. I think they looked like, I didn't even see the same JDG. I don't know what I was looking at. You go, man.
I want to say they underperformed, but also, just based off of like what SOFM and Ben were doing in groups, I don't think that it was as much of a underperformance as Suning just have been playing fantastic this tournament. I mean, even their one loss against G2, like it was close and they threw. Like I think SOFM right now is the best jungler in the world based off of what's been shown so far.
There's 2 different ways you could look at it. Like Suning performed better recently, but JDG beat them all year in their own region, and they are better in best of 5. So I could see why people chose JDG. It wasn't like Outworld you picked JDG, but like the strengths of JDG, they didn't even play towards them. Loken and Lovemao having a great laning phase, pretty good laners overall. They are good bot lane, outside of lane as well. They underperformed. Lovemao over here playing like he's just playing without hands essentially. Yagal's only good at specific champions, and he doesn't have the same skill ceiling that Knight Chovy or Showmaker do. So that's also a problem if he's not on specific champions like Zoe, TF, Syndra, champions like that. Zoom played really well. I think Zoom played the best for them all tournament long. And I think Kanavi also underperformed. So it's a combination of underperforming versus them. I think they're just a Korean version of Dragon X, essentially, that can... I don't know. That's how I see him. But it's not weird to me that Suning won, because Suning were playing better individually literally almost 2 days before the quarterfinals even started, though. So...
Yeah, I think honestly it also kind of depends on like what the meta is. So like Yagao is like at least a lot of the LPL casters and whatnot, and a lot of people that watch LPL, Yagao is by far like the best Zoe in China.
Dude,
honestly, Yagao is probably the best Zoe in the world, realistically speaking. But Zoe's not really in the meta right now.
What?
So.
It's not Niski? Question mark?
What?
Not even top 10.
We would have got that matchup at MSI. We would have gotten Yagao versus Niski. You know what? They're basically the same player, essentially.
We all know what Niski would have been playing. He got put on Galio duty.
Oh gosh.
My god. But like, just imagine if Yagao could play to the same skill level he does on Zoe. Just imagine that. Like, where's the disconnect? Like,
I think the problem that JDG ran into, one is also they only really played Suning one time, I believe, and that was like week 2 of the LPL split. So they only played them once because they're on opposite like conferences or whatever that they have. But then Gao's champion pool is more like LeBlanc and Kiana and stuff, and like a little bit of Syndra. But like, so it didn't work. He wasn't able to really find mid lane priority and push to help facilitate Kanavi. But the bot lane also was like really bad. But also, I mean, like, I think my Suning's been my Cinderella story before this because of Huanfeng, and like everyone's talking about like, oh, he's the next Uzi. No, this dude is the first Huanfeng. Do not like try to compare him. Like, it's totally different. I love this guy. He's got like one of the best stories ever in the history of any sport imaginable. And it's like, how can you just not love him? How can you not love Ben? Sword Art, literally now, so it's going to be Sword Art versus Karsa.
Oh,
it's so
Sword
cool.
Art finally got to semifinals after all those years of Flash rolls. He finally got to semifinals. You have SOFM. I've been watching SOFM for a long time. I'm so glad he got to Worlds and proved he was the best. I think you could have a Suning in the finals. I think Suning could beat Top Esports, but my pick'em say Top Esports wins. So that's kind of where it bends off. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also for Huanfeng and Sword Art, I remember in the C9 fan group when I forgot what brought it up, but somebody was asking about Suning, and they were like, "I'm not really sold on him," and I was like, "You might want to go watch him." Like, bro, Huanfeng and Sword Art are actually fucking insane.
You might want to get out of Iron 5.
They're actually insane, and SOFM is a god. So like, and then Bin, like they were even talking about it. Bin is like, he led the LPL in solo kills.
The LPL. It's not like North American LCS where you're playing up against like, Broken Blade.
You have like 3 good top laners. No, like fucking half the league's top lanes are top 10 players in the world.
He's solo killing the Shy. Okay?
The Shy, Zoom 369, all these people that are like easily in people's top 10 players in the world.
He's not
like,
solo killing Ruin over here. It's a little different over there,
no. Well, granted, his worst games were against the better players, but still, regardless, he was solo killing like the Shy and these people that are known to be like god tier players. So, Suning, I think, are definitely underrated as far as like when it comes to like what people think they can do. Like, I definitely didn't think they'd be JDG, but shit, they fucking proved me wrong.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, in my opinion, this is another DRX versus Damwon situation where I think that Suning had they had a better read on the meta, and they had the better people for it in SOFM as the jungler, and that they play through him very well, but also that since they had a better grasp of the meta, I think they were able to punish JDG better. Like, if JDG would have played against Gen G, who knows? Like, maybe JDG wins right there, or if if JDG finished first and they play against Fnatic, who knows? So
All right, so let's get to the next one, which was the only match to go 5 games, and that leads into the Nemesis point. Fnatic took Top Esports, the tournament quote-unquote favorite, I think it's Game 1, but most people had Top Esports, to 5 games, actually. And the conversation of Nemesis came up, and I'm part of a Fnatic group, and man, the Fnatic group to the Cloud9 group, I don't know what's worse, delusion or blindness. Could be a combination of both. Could be a combination of both. So, let's go with Nemesis first. Do you guys think Nemesis was bad in the series overall?
Good.
I know he had a good first 2 games on Orianna and who else were there? Honestly, yeah, who else did he play? Galio, yeah.
Can I say something real quick? I have a funny point. So, I watch. I have a couple friends that I watch this with, and the night before I was like, oh yeah, like this Top Esports Fnatic series, like this one's gonna be a stomp by Top. Like no reason to get up at 4 a.m. to watch it. Like we should all just go to bed and just watch the highlights later. And then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, 5 games? What? Like what did I miss? So completely miscalculated on that one, on my part. So yeah.
Do you guys really think Nemesis was that bad actually? Because like, I don't know. I think he played poorly, but the way people made him out to be, I personally think that he didn't play that bad. People are making it like he played like Bjergsen. It's like, no, but he definitely did underperform. Like he definitely, I'm not going to say unsugarcoat it. He definitely did play poorly. Now, in terms of what he is, he's like a weak side mid laner, which is weird because you want mid lane to be your strong position. You want mid lane to be the point of where you have caps on G2. It's your carry. You want it to have it where it's like Jensen and Power of Evil and FlyQuest and Team Liquid. You want to have that as your carry position. If he's playing weak side mid lane, that's kind of weird, considering he's only played good on Orianna and Lucian so far at the World Championship. But that's not what you need in a mid laner, though. I understand people are like attached and in love with him. His personality is weird but cool. It's like you got to call things for what they are. He did play poorly, but he didn't play as bad as people made it out to be. I personally think he played okay. He played okay, but he didn't play exceptionally well. But he did underperform later on as the series showed. I think that the Fnatic series is a telling of starting a car really fast, trying to get there, and slowing down. Because in Game 3, when Selfmade chose Kha'Zix, it was like, what are you doing? The series is not over yet. What are you doing? My man picked Kha'Zix. And then also you had Bwipo over here feeding like the Red Cross in the top lane the whole series. I don't know what else happened to them. Like, you start off that strong, and then you just falter. Like, in my opinion, you deserve to lose. That's just me. I'll let you
True.
Karsa hard fucking smurfed on him from games 3 and on.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. Game 5 was fucking atrocious. Like, Karsa definitely performed well. And as far as like Bwipo, I mean, I feel like Bwipo's always done that though. He either has like really good games, like where he actually does really, really well, or he has the complete opposite where he's just getting fucking trashed. And against 369, it's pretty rough. But as far as like your Nemesis point, I think Nemesis, what hurt Nemesis is the same shit that hurt Niski. But I'm not going to compare EU to NA. I'm just saying like as far as champ pool goes, and like it's not that large. Like he's got 2 champs that he's like really good on, and the rest he's like kind of okay on. But I don't think Nemesis was necessarily the problem.
So, for me, I think he only became a problem in like the draft, because if you are only excelling at like 1 or 3 champions, it's easy to pinch you in the draft. But I think Bwipo played pretty bad. Like Bwipo played worse than Nemesis, and Nemesis is the one getting blamed. It's like being in a solo queue game. You're like you went like 3-3 and 2 or something like that, and then your top laner's over here going like 0-10-0 against a Mordekaiser versus Soraka matchup. I had that before. Don't ask. And then they're blaming me, and it's like, what did I do? I'm not 0-10. Like, I personally think the reason why they couldn't beat Top Esports was because of Bwipo. I think if he had at least shown up at some capacity, maybe you just put him on tanks, which they did, and he still lost, proving why he played pretty bad. I think Fnatic do have a shot at beating them. I think that in Game 4, it was still shown with Bwipo massively underperforming, they still had a shot at winning. You know, and I just don't like how people blamed it all on Nemesis when it was very clearly shown that Bwipo played worse out of the 2. That's just me. But overall, how did you guys like the series? Did you guys enjoy the series? I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Karsa,
Yeah,
woo,
absolutely.
mwah, beautiful. That Lee Sin kick he did when he jumped all the way and kicked, got the kill and got it out. Oh, whoo, it was beautiful. That's the work of gods right there. Now, if I could replicate that in my solo queue games, I could, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Hey, any series that goes 5 games always worth it for the most part.
Yeah, so I think it wasn't necessarily as much as Bwipo's fault as honestly, like you just got team diffed. Like
Yeah,
as bad
yeah.
as he did, I just think that like Karsa, when I wouldn't say it was a diffy in the jiffy, but also Karsa was just everywhere. Like
Dude, they thought Carson was down for the count. My God, they don't know LPL. That means they don't watch the LPL. These players do not just go down without a fight. They were like, nope, we are not losing this game. We will fight back. And I like that, though. I love that because that shows that they're not willing to settle and just lose the series. Most NA teams, if they were like, down like that against Fnatic, they're probably just giving up. But nope, not the best teams in the world. This shows why they're not that they are one of the best teams in the world because they are able to come back from that and just win 3 straight. And the 3 games that Top Esports won were much more different than the games that Fnatic won. And that's the good thing about this series. But overall, I thought the series was great. Nemesis, if you want to do it for the whole Fnatic point, let's be honest here, like, they might change him. I think they would. Personally, they usually only keep their mid laner for like 2 years anyway. But I don't. If you want to compete against G2, getting a carry mid laner might be in your best interest. That's me, But
well, but who would you get though? That's the mainly
issue.
the
Yeah.
issue. Is
Yeah,
who do you get? Like, because who's
Humanoid?
even
Larson?
I mean, those are your best bets. Honestly, Larson's your best bet. If you want
Yeah.
to try to compete with G2, your best bet is Larson. Humanoid did really well, especially for getting fucking 5 bans thrown at him.
Oh, right. So, the last match we had was G2 clapping Gen G. Not much to tell about this series. It's literally just a mid-gap. Mid-gap, support gap.
Claps.
My God, Gen G playing with no arms, no keyboards, no eyes. I'm not being racist, guys. But their eyes were squinted the whole time. They were like, oh, we're actually losing. All right, we're done. Like, I told people, Gen G have big, glaring weaknesses. Like, big, you can see them. Their synergy is complete trash. Why in the world is Click going for a scuttle crap and his mid laner is literally in base walking? What are you doing? Like, I'm just saying, these are things that they've clearly been doing that, like, it's the problem that Day One had last year, where they're not really on the same page and they're just kind of just good individually. That's what they are to me. They need to get on the same page if they want to do well. I don't think Rascal's that good. I think if you want to have world-winning aspirations, just kick Rascal in life. They're clearly not good. I'm sorry, Rascal can play weak side. That's not what you want to do if you're a world caliber team. Pick up Keen. Pick up Summit. Players like them will definitely help you out.
Man, I'm just sad that my favorite LCK team did make it. I don't even say they're my favorite team. I just like Naguri and Showmaker. But I think it kind of just sucks that pause had to happen. Because otherwise, I guarantee you, it's either DRX or Gen G's not there.
Whew. Man, God.
But, I think Rascals.
Dude, imagine T1 making World Championship over Gen G. If they actually pulled it together, because that would have been T1 versus G2 in a rematch. I've been actually pretty hyped though in the quarterfinals.
That would have been pretty hype.
Oh.
So realistically, I think T1 definitely would have showed up better, but they're not there. They didn't make it. As unfortunate as that is.
Oh man,
I think they would have done
funny.
significantly better.
Clint has only lost best of 5s to G2 internationally. That is so cursed. He's 0-3 against G2 internationally. If G2 get to the finals after we preview the semifinals coming up, this is the best Western team of all time. I don't think this is getting beaten for a very long time. MSI title trophy, won every single trophy in their region. Yep. If they make World Finals, this is back-to-back World Finals. I mean, if they win Worlds, that's like, all right, you're solidified. Best Western team of all time.
I mean, I feel like it already is, realistically speaking. Like, I don't even think it's close. I think your next best bet is obviously going to be Fnatic. But, like, outside of them, this shit is not fucking close.
Let's go, boys. We got the 2020 World Championship Semifinals preview. You got Suning Gaming versus Top Esports, and you have G2 versus Damwon, a rematch from the 2019 World Championship quarterfinals. I'm gonna do let's do the G2 one first because it's interesting. This is an interesting one. Like, my pick'em say Damwon's winning and they're winning World Championship anyway. There's a world I could see where G2 beat them, but this is not the same Damwon from last year. This is like gap every lane because Ghost is no slouch. I mean, Ghost is not bad. Barrel's not bad either. Barrel and Ghost can match Perks and Mickey. Canyon's been playing much better than Yankos all tournament long. Showmaker's been playing better than Caps all tournament long. Naguri's been playing better than Wonder all tournament long. You basically have all the players playing better. The only issue here is which series showed more weaknesses is what you have to go off of. Like, what could you see as possible weak points for Damwon? I see weak points for G2. It's hard to really see weak points for Damwon. Like, I'm not trying to make them seem like there's some gods, but
I mean,
they kind of are.
They kind of are.
Yeah, like, this is, if they beat Damwon this time around, that's even bigger of an upset than last time because they're actually 10 times stronger this time around.
Yeah, I feel like last time Canyon was kind of inexperienced, and then obviously you had Nuclear, who was Nuclear was all right, and then Barrel was mediocre. But you have four out of the 5 players that made the all-team first pro from the LCK or Damwon, and you know where Ghost was? Second team.
Yeah,
only behind Ruler. So I mean, realistically, I could see G2 doing it. Do I think they will? No, I actually think Damwon's going to win 3-1. And I think G2's only hope is getting Caps to play how he did in this most recent series.
And that
when he's not against BDD,
yeah,
he's against Showmaker.
Yeah.
See, it's not going to happen against Damwon. Damwon's not going to sit there and let you roam around as TF and get kills. That's not what Damwon do. If anything, the way to beat Damwon, it's not a way to beat them, but it's something that they've showed as a weakness. Showmaker and Naguri play so aggressive they can give up early game pressure in their 1v1 matchups. If there's somehow, some way they can punish that to the fullest extent, where they can consistently get and punish their over-aggressive tendencies, which I know I bring that up a lot, but it's something you can do. They gotta punish their over-aggressive tendencies a lot. You gotta be like, okay, you kill Showmaker 1v1, you're going back repeating ganking. Same thing with Naguri. You kill him solo kill, you're gonna repeat gank him, summon Rift Herald top, get your Rift Heralds, push them in forward. Other than that, I don't see them winning. Like, I'm a G2 fan and I love G2, but I don't see them winning. I really don't. If they win, that's an upset. I'll eat my words. Fuck it. Who cares? It's a straight up analysis prediction. I'm sorry. I don't see them winning, but if they do, it's great. I'm happy, you know.
Yeah, I think it's honestly, I think it'll be pretty rough, especially because if you consider it last year, like as I already said, Canyon played pretty mediocre last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yankos played amazing last year. Like he was great. This year, it's the complete opposite. Canyon's playing fantastic, and Yankos is honestly, the Yankos is kind of holding them back, realistically speaking. But I think it'll come down to Mickey. I think Mickey has been overall, as far as the tournament goes, I think he's been their best player. Yeah, I would say Mickey X has been their best player so far this tournament.
He's been playing really well. Gosh.
That ward on the fucking blast cone was fantastic. But yeah, I could see them winning. I just don't think they will. My prediction will be a 3-1 in Damwon's favor.
I want to go in all 5 games. Last year we got 3-1.
I think it's a 3-0 for Damwon.
Holy shit!
I
All right,
could
JJ
see that
says
too,
me.
though.
All right, JJ says.
I can see that too.
I get it. You know they 3-0'd Genji or whatever, but just the difference between Damwon and Genji is just, I think, so immense that I think it's Damwon's year, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think they just want revenge from last year.
Yeah,
like,
you can see Naguri's face. He's like, I gotta take out this G2. I can't lose them again. I go home, lose them to G2 twice in a year.
And that's the thing, you can't ban them out. Like, Naguri has been playing Kennen and fucking Lulu.
Yeah.
Like,
top.
what else do you need?
I have not seen a Lulu top since like season 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. Lulu top is a thing? Alright, hey, pick Karma top, because that's what you're gonna need, because you're not solo killing Naguri consistently. I mean, that's the only way I saw them really get punished, is that you saw them over-aggress, miss on skill shots, they get punished for it. But even that, like, even in those games, they weren't really that far behind, though. They were like, all right, cool, we'll just start dragon stacking. We lost solo kills, that's cool. Start dragon stacking. And weren't behind in gold at all.
And one more thing for Damwon, and I'll stop hyping them up. But the way they've been playing around Fog this time around has been insane. Like, they've just found every way to stay out of vision and collapse and flank from it. So I think it'll be interesting.
All right, last matchup for the 2020 World Championship Semifinals is Suning versus Top Esports. Interesting one. This is the most interesting one because there's a world I could see Suning beating Top Esports.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be a lot closer than...
Yeah, this might be another 5-game series because if Top go down 0-2, you might have to see them reverse sweep Suning. I could see Suning coming out really strong in the first 2 games. I could see it. And then I could see the same thing that Top did against Fnatic, obviously going and getting the reverse sweep. Or it could be reverse. Top Esports start off strong and then Suning almost get the reverse sweep. Because I think SOFM has been playing better than Karsa the whole tournament. I think Ben has pretty much been up there with 369. I think all the players are pretty much neck and neck other than someone like... It's the bot lane matchup. Swordart and Yuyanji. Yuyanji's really bad. Yuyanji is, like, glaringly pretty bad.
I mean, who's hyped for that Karsa Swordart match? Like, going toe-to-toe. That should be pretty good. I think, like, for this series, it could really come down to, like, in all honesty, it could be a 3-1 either way, but I think all the games should really end up probably being, like, super close, to be honest with you. I don't really see, like, a smash one way or another in any of the games, unless, like, one team smashes one game and then the next team comes out, or the next game the other team comes out and smashes, then you're playing a best of 3 or something like that. But in my opinion, I think these 2 teams are pretty evenly matched, but I think that you could see a 3-1 one way or another. That just, the only reason it's a 3-1 is because game 4 is just like this all-out, bloodbath 45-50 minute game that, one person just makes this tiniest mistake and the other team is just able to capitalize on.
I see it as the series that we had last year against FPX and IG, just back and forth non-stop. My God, that was so fun to watch. Oh my God, if we get something like that with SOFM and Karsa, you can sign me up all day. Imagine having that with Knight and Angel. Like, I think the series is actually way closer than people are giving credit for. I still have Top Esports winning. Obviously, my pick'ems, I gotta make sure I keep that correct. Top, I think, win 3-2. I think if Suning loses a really close best of 5, go home with your head held up high. You should have nothing to feel bad for. But there's a world I could see Suning winning. I mean, I really see it, honestly. I think Suning have been playing great. I think their bot lane's been playing better. I think there's a world where I could see SOFM destroying Karsa to the point where you didn't see Selfmade do it that effectively, but Selfmade still played really well. I want to give him credit there. But I see this as a series where whoever gets the lead in the first game is going to probably tell the whole story of the series. But you guys want to say anything else on that one?
I think it'll be close, honestly. I don't know. I could see it also being a 3-0 stomp either way. Just based off of how, like, SOFM's been playing the whole tournament, it's been rather disgusting. Like, it's actually been stupid.
Imagine getting invaded level 1 and then being up ahead in CS against your enemy and not losing tempo. What is that? What world is this? This man plays in a different dimension than we do.
He makes, like, his Lee Sin build is fucking, like, wacky as shit, and he still does fantastic. Like, I just don't understand it. But overall, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty evenly matched. I think, honestly, though, I think it'll come down to bot lane, and I think Suning's bot lane is better. Well, as a collective, as a 2v2, they're better. I think Jackie Love's the best ADC in the world right now. So, I mean, you could argue him or Ruler, but I personally, just based off what I've seen, I think it's Jackie Love.
Wait, isn't Jackie Love on top though?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Suning as a collective, as a 2v2 is better, but Jackie Love, I think, is individually better than Huan Feng.
Because I think people are looking at how Reckless kind of beat him in their series, but the later 3 games, Jackie Love played pretty fine, actually. He played pretty well toward the later half of the games. I obviously, the first 2 games, he looked pretty poor, but then the later games, it was damn near the same, if not better than what Reckless put out. But I still have top esports winning. I have top esports winning, and I have Damn One winning, and then I have Damn One obviously winning the finals. Thank you, Riot, for having me pick my semifinal matchups before I even see quarterfinal games. Thank you. I love it. But I think we had a pretty good episode this time around. I want to say thank you to OPTSM fan for showing up. Thank you, Shenry, for showing up. Thank you, JJ, whenever you can slide in. Anything you guys want to say before we anything you want to say before you guys head out, or we got it all covered?
I'm on world champs.
Damn.
Calling it now.
G2 first Western team to win Worlds. G2 first Western team to win Worlds. Let's make it happen. Oh my god. And when Perk said mid gap, I was like, damn.
Jesus.
Oh my god, when G2 flashed the TSM logo after their first game, G2, you ain't shit.
Okay, so I will say that like G2 as a team are fucking hilarious, bro. I like how they talk shit. So, you know,
bro,
if nothing else,
it triggers sensitive people. Oh, sorry, it triggers sensitive, soft people so hard. It is so funny.
Too true.
Like when Wonder was like, "Oh, we play this week." I thought we played next week against fucking Damwon. Like, bro, this is peak, man. Peak.
Oh my god. They flashed the TSM logo. Holy shit, they ain't shit. God damn. That's just BM at its finest. It's like it triggers sensitive people so hard by how they act. It's like, I'm sorry. It's like, oh yeah, well, Korean players, they're so nice and they're so welcoming. No. Do you live under a rock? Do you live actually under a rock? Korean players and Chinese players are so nice. They would never shit talk on our team. Man, you really actually are fucking stupid. You really are stupid.
True.
Like,
bro, FPX after last year's finals, they flamed the shit out of G2. There was translations going, like, they were just like.
But remember, they're nice. They would never do that. They were like a nice guy. They would never do that.
They were like, wait, that team beat SKT 3-1? Like, really? Like that's who won? Like, honestly I didn't even really fucking try. Like, they were just shit. Like, they were shit talking them the entire time. Like, Doinby was actually even talking shit about Gimgoon the whole time too. He was like, yeah, he was feeding, but I had to just carry him anyways. Like, it was easy.
Oh my god, I love teams like that. See you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. See you guys next week for when we'll preview the 2020 World Championship Finals. One more week, and then we are in here. See you guys later. Goodbye. Thanks for showing up, and I'm signing out. Peace. If you guys catch this on the VOD replay, just like the stream, and that's it. Peace out, guys.